Now that we have reviewed the project on retail business and can see in that 8-minute video how one can drive strategy to execution, let's take now a little bit of a detailed look at something called planning statements. What we're going to do is look at the planning statements as a part of step one in the strategy in a box framework. What is step one? Step one is to define our goals, objectives, and strategy such that the industry templates will help us accurately represent our strategy relative to our goals and objectives. So let's take a look at that in a little more detail. And we'll do that by opening up the back end of the tool that we use to set our strategy in the Visible Advantage platform. And opening up that particular project, the retail business project, as a reference point, we'll go ahead and view the strategy planning portion of the project. In doing so, we can see that what we have in front of us are so-called planning statements. Now, planning statements are something that we use as a part of our connected planning. That is to say, we want to connect the business vocabulary to the underlying information technology resources that are required to execute our business vocabulary, in this case, the strategy. So here you can see some examples of what we refer to as planning statements. And notice that the planning statements typically are in a hierarchical format. These planning statements can also be referred to sometimes as taxonomies. So they have types associated with them. As you can see, for example, we have a strategy to align the product promotions to consumer behavior. Well, that particular type of planning statement essentially links to defining the market segment, which is an objective. It in turn links to the consumer analysis that we want to perform, which is a goal type of planning statement. Now, in terms of setting up our planning statements, we have the capability of doing so here in the tool, and we can obviously identify any number of planning statement types here. You can see them here: assumption, business, business event, business rule, capability, and of course the ones we were just looking at: mission, objective, strategy. Okay, and when we define a particular type of planning statement, we have the opportunity to express whether it's a composite type and how we want to be able to link it. Remember, I referred to these planning statements being linked together in that hierarchy. How we want to be able to link it to other objects in our project. Okay, so here the strategy type of planning statement is in fact a composite type of planning statement, and it does in fact, we have set it up in fact to allow linkages to all the other planning statements, and whereby the linkage, the cardinality of the linkage, that is many to many. We could have described it as a simple one-to-one relationship, or a one-to-many, or a many-to-one, but in this case, we want to describe it as a many-to-many relationship. And again, we want to be able to link it to any of the objects in our project. And here's an exhaustive list of type of objects that we can carry in our project and link this particular planning statement, a strategy, to any one or more of these objects that you see here.